By the way, that's a Strudenoff impact mill there. It's a very good piece of equipment for ease of maintenance and ease of replacing and rerunning your hammers on there, which is one of the major problems with impact mills. You keep running up, you keep wearing out your hammers. You can replace all that very easily with that. And the reason we have it set up like that is we're higher so that we can feed out of the bottom, which is the bottom is this. It actually is your screen material comes out here at the bottom. It will run off of there right onto the table, replacing the impact, the trommel there. Trommels are very good for if the ore is already ground or you're running a placer operation or something like that. But if you do have to grind Strudenoff, it screens and then grinds it all up, and it also cuts down no dust. And I really like the no dust. Actually, everybody likes the no dust. If you do have mercury in your ore, you should be running with gloves on at all times. Mercury is not good for you. Now you can see we're getting towards the end. We're starting to run out of ore here, and our line has showed up again. As soon as we're not feeding, as long as now we're down to no more dirt feeding in there, it's now running more tails off the table, so that's bringing that line down. Now, the question I'm always asked is there any more gold on the table when I get done with the concentrates? And yes, there is. There's going to be gold in here, there's going to be a little gold in here, and there might be even a little gold in here. But in production, I'm not trying to get the 1/10 of a gram out of this little amount when I've just run 10 tons of material. What I'm going to do is just open this up, take it, put it in another bucket, throw it back on the table, and any gold that is still on the table will be back up here on our top line. Then I put it back in a bucket next time, and then tomorrow when I start all over again, I just throw that on the table first. And I still have my gold, and I'm not working long hours trying to get that little last half a gram or so out of there. Now that we've got our concentrate in our bucket in the back here, what we're going to do is I'm going to raise the table, the back end of the table back up, throw it back on, and get our gold line. And then we're going to have a gold line that we can vacuum off and weigh and fire, hopefully. Well, hi, Junie. Now, same thing, what we're going to do is now I'm going to raise the back of this table up with the leg adjustments. Here's our line right now. I'm going to move this line all the way back up to here, up to the front. we've moved our line back up to the front. Now we just take this off, move this back to the back. The reason we move it back to the back when we're running small amounts is because it makes it easier for us to get to the line and look at it. That is the only reason. The reason that this is where it would normally be when you're running production. Now, you can hear how hard it's hitting. That's we had set up for production. A lot more weight on the table. Now what we're going to do is just turn it down a little bit so it's not banging so hard. Gentle. We like gentle. As long as it keeps this bed fluid, that's all we want. We're not trying to pound the gold up to the top. We're just getting it to go up there with gentleness. Can you see this line real well? Good. Okay, now I'm going to feed in the concentrates that we just made. Pour some of this water off. Got it? So you can see the amount that we just made out of that 2 buckets, which is plenty. Now once again, you can see we're back to our black line. Now, you also get a wash tube just like we have back here that goes on this tray, and it's for when you're running small samples to keep water running in here so you're always in a slurry situation. When you're running production, you have your water flow either out of your trommel or out of your impact or out of your ball mill, and that's the flow that you're going to use. Now I'm going to go ahead and take this trough off so that we can see that real well. Just shut it off, took that popper off of there so that we could see this better. Now you can see I put my finger in there and it goes right down to the table without me pushing on it. That's what we want. If you're on this ore and you're pushing like this and you're not touching the bottom, this is packed. If it's packed, the gold is not going to come out from underneath it. Now, from over there, I don't know if you can see it, but we have a nice gold line right here. And we've got some big pieces of gold here too. Good. This ore was assayed running about 1 ounce at a ton. So if everything went right here, we should have about, well, less than a gram of gold out of that 100 pounds that we just ran. Which might be low because it looks like we might have more than that, which is good. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to vacuum this off so that we can pan it and take a look at it. I'm going to go get the vacuum cleaner. And we do that when we're running small samples. When you're running large samples, actually you'll be seeing an Alaskan operation, and they have a lot of gold. They don't need to worry about what we're looking at here. But in a small, when you're doing small testing, what you want to do is you want to take all of this blacks off of here, along with your gold. And then what you would do is normally you do a fire assay and fire it. In production, the same thing is going to happen, except you're going to have a whole lot more gold. Now, with a wet and dry vacuum cleaner that we have, we can either take 90% of the gold off the table as very, very clean gold, and then leave about 10% in this black sands here and just fire it. It just depends on what you want to do or how much you're actually running. In a commercial operation, if it's 10% by weight gold, it is a sellable product. In other words, you can either sell it or go right into a smelter and make a dory bar out of it. And this is what I was talking about. See, we have a little bit of black sand loss right here. And that's what we're going to look for. We don't want any down in here. And that's what you would look for. What you do is you'd actually take each one of these off separately, see how it was, and test them to see how much gold was lost, so that you could either regulate how fast you were feeding your ore, if you're running too fast or too little. Take that top line off of there. You can also check to see if you have any underneath there by just simply moving this ore back up and letting it do its thing. And you can see we brought up a little bit more. Do that a couple of times after that. You just throw it in a bucket, and tomorrow when you start up again, you just throw that bucket on the ore on the table first, and you've got your gold again. And you can see we didn't have very much left underneath there, even with just trying to get it out from underneath there. That we were talking about, this is the hydraulic pump. As you can see, we got our holes, and the ore is down below the top of the bar here. What it has to do is it actually pumps itself up over this, and that keeps any float material on the table, so you never have any float running off your table. And that's what the two primary reasons for that is, to make the ore run faster and to keep the float material on the table. Is we shut everything down, and you can see your gold line right here. Okay, that's the yellow. Now you'll also see that you've got your blacks, which is probably magnetic, or if you were running through a ball mill or anything like that, impact mill, this is your iron is up in here. Your black sand is in here, and that's what we're looking for. As you can see, that it's a really distinct. I mean, there's actually a ridge from this material here up to this sand material, and this is your tails. Now we'll vacuum all this off and then repan it so that we can see and weigh this amount of gold, what we got here. But in production, what we do is this would all be in one bucket, and we just throw it in a smelter and smelt the whole thing. And as actually, you can see how you have ridges here, these ridges right here. Okay, that's where the ripples, the waves actually stopped, and that's what actually it causes that. And that's what we're working at, is to make them waves do that, so that we have the material fall to the tabletop, and then it moves itself back. Well, we're in the office, in the lab. These are the concentrates that we made out there on the table. What I want to do first is I want to screen it, take the magnetics out, pan it, and here we go. Now I'm just going to screen this. The reason I do this is to get rid of the larger pieces of material that came up with the concentrates. If they're big pieces of gold, you can see them really easily, so it's not a problem with that. But it makes it a lot easier to pan so that you can get your fine material out of here real easily. You can either get yourself a very expensive screen, or you can go to the hardware store or grocery store and pick up one of these little nylon screens that they use in the kitchen, which lasts for just about ever, and just the right size. All right. See, that's the larger material that we got out of there. Now just put this screen material back in our pan here. Wash it into the pan. And we're going to screen it. I'm going to take the magnetics out just because if we have any, it's easier getting them out now. Now you can see the magnetics there. And if you just threw that away just like that, what you have is you just got a bunch of gold in there. What you got to do is wash that good. What you have is a natural affinity for magnetics and gold. Specific gravity is up there. Magnetics are, gold is not magnetic, but it just likes to be with it. And it will stick to it with surface tension, the water surface tension. So what you got to do is, when you do this, is make sure that that gold doesn't stick. There's your gold, your magnetics. See, now we almost just got rid of all of them there. All right. Now the way we pan this is we're looking for the fine gold, and we want to get rid of the larger stuff. So we get our gold cons down in the pan like that, and then we're going to put it into the surface of the water and let the water run in, cause swirls, move the pan out from underneath the swirls.